Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuzz here, and today's video is going to be a video that I've thought about making for a long time, and it's one about an item that really, when this update happened, is when I started playing Runescape 3 religiously and started making videos on YouTube. So it's an item that really got me into PVM. So if you enjoy content like this, looking back at a little Runescape history and PVM, make sure to subscribe and leave a like as well. So let's get into this video. Back after EOC was released, I have many fond memories of PVMing on RuneScape 3. I've been playing RuneScape 3 since it switched to EOC and of course before, but at this point EOC was really new. No one really knew what they were doing, so I may be a bit weird here, but I actually really enjoyed playing and PVMing right after EOC was released. Sure, it was unpolished and it was a drastic change from the combat we all knew from RuneScape before EOC, but it did feel new and interesting at the time. And the biggest thing was I felt like I was on a level playing field with everyone else, just trying to figure out how EOC worked. When EOC was released, special attack energy was basically replaced with something called adrenaline, which was used to use abilities like basics, thresholds, and ultimates. You could still, however, use special attacks, although they weren't as powerful, and at the time people didn't know how they fit in. In pre-EOC, you had things like the Dragon Claws, the Bandos Godsword, which was used a ton for PVM and very pivotal. But after EOC was released, special attacks didn't feel as important. That's not to mean they were useless, but they didn't feel as big as they were back then. But as EOC evolved more and more, special attacks began to be used a bit more like the Gothic Staff special attack for magic, and new weapons that were released like the Zeros Godsword being one of the first tier 92s from Telos in 2016. This also brought new and interesting special attacks like the Saren Godbow and many more. I guess you can count the Staffless Liske, although that has pretty much always been a useless special attack. However, special attacks would get a huge change when we look forward to August of 2020. In August of 2020, this is when an item was released called the Essence of Finality. Today, this is a staple in most high-level PVM setups, but during its release, it was highly regarded as the new best in slot amulet in RuneScape, which was true because of its huge style bonus of plus 56 to every combat style. But not only that, it combined together the Reaper Necklace and the Amulet of Souls, allowing the ability to gain both effects and not have to choose one or the other, which was a massive thing at the time. But the biggest and most meta-changing mechanic behind this amulet was the ability to have this amulet store special attacks. As you probably know, the Essence of Finality has a feature where you can permanently sacrifice an item to have your amulet store a special attack. This caused a big change in the market, as things at the time like the Stadius Warhammer could be sacrificed and used for an unlimited amount of times. Back during this time, the Stadius Warhammer was a big ticket item for PVM because it could be used to spec and lower the defenses of bosses, and it only had a set number of times it could be used back then before it degraded completely to dust. But now with the introduction of the Essence of Finality, you are able to use the Stadius Warhammer spec an unlimited amount of times. This was huge at the time, but the biggest aspect of the Essence of Finality release was the fact that when using the special attack that you stored in the Essence of Finality, it would take on the stats of the item you have equipped. So for instance, before, when you would use a Gothic Staff at like Telos for instance, I remember always having to switch to my Gothic Staff and spec manually. Thus that would mean I was getting the tier 60 bonuses of the Gothic Staff when I hit with it. Well, with the Essence of Finality, this is over. If I'm wearing a tier 92 weapon, my Gothic Staff special will now spec with the stats of that weapon, which was huge. But this kind of completely changed how we thought about PVM and raised the importance of special attacks even more. The PVM meta changed, and now weapons are judged on their special attacks almost solely sometimes. Now, while special attacks were meaningful before, the Essence of Finality definitely bolstered this above and beyond what I ever thought they would get to. It kind of brings us back to the days where special attacks were the key factor of a weapon, whether you're going to buy it or not. This leads to us getting excited about the tier of a weapon, but more importantly about what the special attack is. We're always dying to know about the new special attack of new weapons that come out, and it can really make or break the weapon when we see what the special attack can do. The Fractured Staff of Armadyl is a great example of this. The special attack is absolutely overpowered, and it really makes the staff one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful weapon in the game today. Abilities are really cool, and they did have huge impacts on PVM in RuneScape 3. New, more powerful abilities like Greater Ricochet, and the invention release with perks was absolutely huge. There's no denying it. But for me, the singular item that really changed how I thought about PVM and how I liked to PVM was really the Essence of Finality. But one of the coolest things I think that the Essence of Finality brings to the game is it kind of makes you choose and prioritize things. So for instance, of course you can have multiple Essence of Finalities, but for me, someone that, kind of hates spending money sometimes on RuneScape 3, as if you watch my series, it took me a while to buy the big things like Greater Ricochet and items and abilities like that. Deciding if I'm going to sacrifice an item in my Essence of Finality and know that I can never take it out and sell it again is a huge decision that I know a lot of you have made before. So like if I got an Eldritch Crossbow, that is like 3 billion GP. So having to decide, am I really gonna commit, put this Eldritch Crossbow in my EOF and basically say goodbye to 3 bill. Of course, I'll still have the Eldritch Crossbow in the EOF that I can use a special attack, but I am saying goodbye to the physical item of the Eldritch Crossbow that I could sell if I needed to. The EOF just really makes these decisions feel big and impactful and a huge commitment, and I kind of like that when it comes to PVM, that you're just really committing to something when you end up putting something inside your EOF. Something that I also really loved about the Essence of Finality was that it kind of brought back from the dead special attacks that you would never use before it was released. So for instance, people did use the Gothic Staff spec, but you were using a tier 60 weapon and swapping to it. Same with like the Dark Bow. Now you could use a Dark Bow with the damage and everything of a weapon that was much higher tier, and that basically went for all kinds of weapons. The fact that you could basically put any weapon in here and use a special attack while keeping, the bonuses of the main weapon you're using was just amazing for bringing back other weapons. So when I remember when this was released, people were theorizing what is the best weapons to use with this. Everyone was trying out a ton of different stuff, and it was really, really cool to see the community test all these weapons and kind of see which weapons, stood out and which weapons didn't. And as of now, it's kind of settled in the meta what weapons people use. Mostly the Dark Bow, the Gothic Staff, some dragon weapons are used, the Statius Warhammer, and then there's newer things like the Armadyl Battle Staff, which surprisingly goes for a really good amount of money. I've talked about before, but that is also used a lot as well, which is something, I never thought that we'd be using the Armadyl Battle Staff as a spec in 2022. So for me personally, I feel like this is the item that I felt really changed PVM for me and kind of just changed how I thought about it and made it a lot more fun. What do you guys think is the update or the item or the ability that really changed PVM for you? I know there's many answers to this. I almost thought about doing Invention as well, because Invention really changed PVM too. We had that period where Invention was not out after EOC, and PVM was a lot different once perks and stuff like that was added to the game. So Invention was huge as well, but for me personally, Essence of Finality was one of my favorite updates. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I haven't uploaded in a few weeks. I did decide to take a break just because I'm graduating college soon, and I had just uploaded so many days in a row, I think over 200 videos over the past year and a half, so I decided to just take a little break. But of course, I can't stay away. RuneScape, just too addicting. I've played it all my life, and I'm excited because today we have a new update, so I'll be trying that out as well. And yeah, I'm excited to start making some more videos for you guys, and hopefully a Road to Party at coming soon, so look forward to that. And yeah, thank you guys as always for supporting me and my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.